Welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast, brought to you by the Draft Professor. The Draft Professor is a group of podcasters bringing you daily draft podcasts and is home to the only dynamic mock draft simulator which allows fans to mock draft against other fans. The Draft Professor Simulator features a first-round challenge, 5 unique one-round drafts. The Draft Professor Simulator features a second-round challenge, 10 unique 2-round drafts. All mock drafts are always picking against the fans and draft analysts which use the simulator. Every mock, every pick, every time. The Draft Professor also features ranked players functionality, where you can rank your favorite players at every position. Optionally, you can add tiers to your rankings to show what round you have the players graded in. The Draft Professor also features Draft a Team functionality, which allows users to snake draft a team of 22 players to demonstrate your my guys, compare player strengths, and discuss draft prospects in a way no other mock draft simulator can. Thank you for tuning in to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast. This episode will begin shortly. Well, welcome to the Mrs. R Relevant Daily Draft Podcast. I am back with some familiar faces. Didn't I see you guys on Monday?
Yeah. Senior ball stuff.
Yeah. How you doing, Josh?
Good. Happy Friday, everybody. It's good to be back. We're on 2 times this week. Hopefully that's going to be the main thing going forward, being on here as much as I can. But we got a good slate of 3 days of football. We got playoffs tomorrow, Sunday with the matchup of all matchups with the Bills and Ravens. And then you get the national championship as a cherry on top on Monday. So great 3 days of football. But as you know, on the Draft Professor, we are here to cover the draft. And we have been bringing this to you guys ever since the start of college football season, even before that. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow all of us on Twitter. We're bringing you daily draft content every single day. And there's just no better place you can find better draft content. So thanks again for tuning in.
So, Randall, you have a prediction for the college football playoff?
I got Ohio State winning, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than it is. I think the line is -9 right now, and that is bullet board material for Marcus Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the way he handles himself, that they actually do pull it out, but I'm favoring OSU. They're just stacked.
Yeah, and I think from a draft standpoint, we think that Ohio State is stacked, right? Like generally, like if we stack the boards, there's going to be more Ohio State players higher than the next Notre Dame player, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw something today where there was out of top 10 prospects that somebody ranked on their Instagram, 8 out of 10 of them were from Ohio State, and all of them are probably gone by the first 100 picks. So, yeah, they got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, the Ohio State-Texas game was like trenches galore for the draft. It was insane.
Yep. And then we think that also, like, Notre Dame is doing this without a few guys, right? Because Morris and Spurt and stuff like that. But I think that gives credit to the Notre Dame coaching.
Oh,
absolutely.
It cannot be underestimated as to how important coaching is.
No, absolutely. It also shows what the sport's all about in all entirety. It's a team game. It's not just one prospect, one player. Ohio State can have as many players that are going to go as far as they will in the draft. It does not matter. It's a team game at the end of the day. And some can argue Notre Dame is more team-oriented, but they're both even great programs.
100%. Marcus Freeman's halftime speech was it. Like, that got me fired up, and I was sitting at home.
Yeah. So we're going to do some mock drafts tonight because it's Friday night. We want to have some fun. And the Draft Professor mock draft simulator is different. So what I was thinking we were going to do is I want to give like a demonstration or two as to how it works. And then kind of we can talk through it, Randall, Josh, and me as I go through my demo. But then once I finish the very short demo, like turn it over to you guys. And then if you have questions on the simulator as you're going, ask me. But the first thing I want to do is just very simply, I want to do a 1-round draft, and we're going to pick for Kansas City at 32.
Okay.
That way we can see what the draft looks like, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that works.
And I'm going to flip on one button, first round BPA. This means every team is going to select the number one player on their draft card. That way we can see what the draft looks like. And then what we're going to decide to do is we're going to pick a team. So as we look through the first 31 picks, find a team where you don't like their pick, and we're going to change it.
Okay.
Cool.
And if that's Pittsburgh, because that's what we decided pre-show, then that's what we decide. But okay, so pick one: Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
Mason Graham, Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Will Johnson, Tyler Warren to the Jets at 6, Shedeur at 7, Jalen Walker at 8, T-Mac at 9, Nolan at 10, Ravel at 11, Igbuka, Starks, Michael Williams, Jihad Campbell, Kenneth Grant, Will Campbell. I think this is the one we want to change.
Will Campbell, where'd he go?
He went to Cincinnati at 17.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to, I think sometimes the content just makes itself. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Burden, Scourton, Genty at 20 to Denver. Pierce,
Not egregious.
Loveland, Stewart, Harmon. There's another one to change. I don't know if I agree.
Where'd Harmon go? Yeah.
Harmon went to the Vikings.
Not terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Barron
on their pick last year.
Yeah.
Isle Manor, Booker, Williams, Collins to Buffalo, Milrow, and that's where we are. So out of all those, other than the Bengals pick, anything else that you guys see that you might want to change?
Where did Ravel go? He went early. He went high. Lee, what's up?
Hey.
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's going on? How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Hey, Lee, it's nice to meet you. Like, I know we've chatted so often. It's good to see you on a podcast.
Yeah. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So out of all those, Randall, Josh, any of those that you want to see changed?
Did we establish where Ravel went again? I apologize.
Revo went 11 to the 49ers.
That's a little bit high for Revel for me, but it does fit
Yeah.
a need for them, especially if
Right.
Tre'Davious Ward leaves in free agency. That's going to leave a need for a boundary corner. It would fit in, so I'm not too mad at that.
Who would you – so, Josh, who would you switch in the place? Who would you like for San Francisco there?
So if we're talking about corners specifically, let me pull up my corner.
You can it could be any player that's still available. It does not need to be a corner.
Well, if I'm the Chiefs at 32, I'm going best player available. I mean, wait, we're not talking about the Chiefs. We're talking about the 49ers right now.
Right. I just
Did Morrison go off the board?
Nope, he's still available.
I have Morrison ranked higher on my board compared to Revel, so that would be the only change I had if they had to draft a corner. Now, that's going to be a little high for Morrison just because, A, we don't know if he's coming out of the draft yet or not. B, he still hasn't proven to be healthy yet. We're going to have to see how that goes during the combine, during the medicals, pro day, all that stuff. And then just where teams evaluate him in general, this is a good man-to-man corner. How flexible and loose are his hips? How is his athletic ability? It's all going to play a factor into it, but I don't see him falling out of the first round at all. I could see those two interchange, but if I'm the 49ers, I'm looking offensive line specifically at the tackle position just because you do not know how long Trent Williams is going to be there. You also have a solid starter on the right side, but it's not a starter that you can guarantee for 5 years. That's going to be a cornerstone of your team. So I like Josh Simmons at that spot. I like Ariante Ursere at that spot. And if you want to make a little bit of a reach, even though it's really good potential, you can also go Josh Connerly at 11.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we'll make San Francisco our first project with the simulator so I can show you kind of the power that a human has on a mock draft. So who do you like for Kansas City at the end of round 1 right now?
Is what is available in tackle and cornerback at the moment?
Simmons, Connerly, Ursery are all there. Hairston, Morrison, Amos are all there.
Are we consensus that if a good left tackle is available, they should probably take a left tackle?
They should take any
Yeah.
tackle. Left or right.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so,
what they're
I mean,
struggling at.
Yeah,
That's
like-
their one spot in depth at cornerback, literally.
right. So yeah, because L'Jarius Sneed definitely got missed in the first half of this year for sure.
Mhm.
But I would say if we're moving Josh Simmons into the 49ers, let's take him out of that.
Well, no, we can
equation,
do Simmons on this one. It's okay to do Simmons.
Are you sure? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
Simmons would make sense.
I'm
at
about to
32.
show you how it works. So
Yeah.
let's do Simmons. Okay. So we just finished, we did a 1-round mock for KC. Okay. So now this is what's meant by a dynamic simulator. So this time I'm going to flip on this thing called the 2nd round challenge. We're about to do 10 2-round mocks, and we said we were going to go with tackle. We want to do a tackle for the 49ers, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to do 49ers 2nd round challenge. We're about to do 10 2-round drafts for San Francisco. So the 1st round pick is always going to be the same tackle.
Mhm.
And by us picking the same tackle, he's going to go to the top of the 49ers board. And now whenever anybody else uses the simulator, they're going to be mock drafting against our pick. So you can see how Ravel, see how that BPA is 1. What we need to do is get a tackle who's going to be BPA, right? So we can look here. Which tackle would we say is worthy of the 11th overall pick?
Hold on. Is the board up on the live stream?
Yeah. Can I? Okay. Woo.
I'm not sharing my board. I'm like
I
talking.
was about to pull up the website so I could follow you. I'm like, hold on.
I had like the PFF order up on my laptop. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
There we are, Jim.
Jim, why do you think we were asking you like where did Ravel go?
Just so the audience knows, I am completely sober. I don't drink anymore. This is yes.
There's
Thanks,
other
guys.
substances, Jim.
I'm like, it's like I was showing where buttons were, and I wasn't even sharing my screen. So,
all right, this is better. Let's hit it.
Okay. So, who do we like as an offensive tackle for San Francisco at 11?
I'm with Josh on this, and Josh Simmons at tackle. I think he's going to turn into that tackle 1 by the draft hits.
Okay, so I want you to observe that he's currently the 14th player on the 49ers board. That's what this means. And right now, he's 7th. He's the 7th best player on their board available. Okay, so we're going to pick Simmons in round 1, and then we'll rotate around, and everybody can pick a different 2nd round pick for the 49ers. So, Lee, what do you think if the 49ers go tackle in round 1? What do you think they're going to do in round 2?
Tight end.
Okay. Helm, Lachey, Arroyo.
Wait, this my pick?
Yep.
Okay. I'd say Helm.
Okay. So observe that Helm is currently 103. So remember 103. You'll have to remember that number for a while.
Okay.
But remember 103. So anytime you pick somebody, they move up. Now, how far they move up depends on a lot of things. Just know anytime you pick somebody, they move up. Notice that Simmons moved from 14 to 9th. See that?
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Okay. So I'm picking Simmons again. Okay, so Josh, who would be your 2nd round pick for the 49ers if Simmons goes to number 1?
So if I'm the 49ers in the 2nd round, I'm either looking at defensive back or I'm looking at a 2nd edge rusher. I think you're going to have more variety in the edge rusher class. You're going to see a lot of guys fall into the second round, and you're going to get your pick and choose at corner. We're going to switch it up. I'm going to go edge this time, and let me see who's on the board. So you got Jack Sawyer, Donovan Ezeraku, Jaden Ivey, Kyle Kennard, Princely, but I'm going to pull it out early, and a guy that a lot of people are going to be talking about in a month or so, but I've been talking about for 3 months. Braden Swinson, you highlighted him. Just make the pick right now. I've started to see guys like Hail Mary Sports and a couple other Twitter pages start to show love to Braden Swinson. Some people have him ridiculously high, but in my opinion, I've had a true first-round grade on him for a couple months now. So it's good to see everybody starting to catch up a little bit on Braden Swinson.
Yeah.
So Simmons moved up one spot. He was 8 last time, I think, right?
Yeah.
He's 7th.
Yeah.
Now.
There you go. Yeah, Dean opened up my eyes to Braden Swinson about a month and a half ago, and he's a fun watch. He sets that edge. He's good.
He's so well-rounded.
He is.
The game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let me quickly show you what's going on in round 2. So the 49ers pick 43rd in round 2. So if you look, it made sure that Helm and Swinson were off the board before I picked.
Yeah.
So each time it does this, the player you pick once, it's going to make sure the simulator takes them before your pick. So Randall,
Okay.
if you had a second-round pick for the 49ers after they took Josh Simmons, what are you thinking?
Well, top 2 needs were pass tackle or definitely cornerback and edge. Then maybe the third one, depending on how this offseason goes, could be running back. We don't know what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey. Everybody got hurt in that backfield. So so that was kind of brutal for them. So maybe, honestly, I wouldn't think that the 49ers would go a second rounder because they do look in those 4th and 5th rounds, and then they do succeed with how well their offensive line is. So we'll go into the cornerback market, and then we'll look to see what's available around that 43.
Morrison, Hairston, Amos are all available.
Ooh, I like Justin Wally, too. I would go, personally, I'm a big Trey Amos guy. I think he jumps into the first round. So I would think that that's a BPA and Trey Amos, and I'll go with him from Ole Miss.
So remember that he's 63rd when we picked him.
Okay.
Okay, so each time we pick, a player moves up. Now, they won't always switch their rank, but they always move up. So the basic concept here, notice Josh Simmons is now number 1 on the 49ers board. See that?
Messing up the algorithm, Jim.
So this is as designed, and it took us.
I know. Yeah.
Well, this is the 4th mock draft that we've done, and he moved up. Okay, so let's do Simmons again. And Lee, what's another player that you think the 49ers would consider in round 2?
I would. Yeah, Josh, you did running back already.
No, we haven't done running back yet.
You can go to the same position as anybody else. It just won't let you pick the same player twice.
Okay. I go running back, and I take Caleb Johnson.
Okay. Josh, who are you thinking about in round 2 next time?
So we've already gone after a running back. We've already gone after an edge. We've already gone after a DB. That's going to be the high priority positions they'll go after in round 1 and 2. I want to dip into cornerback again. This is a guy I could easily see Kyle Shanahan taking in that 49ers defense when we get to the pick. And that'll be Azariah Thomas, the cornerback out of Florida State, who's rising up a lot of people's draft pools. Really good in man-to-man coverage. Got the athletic ability, got the long arms, can run down the field with his speed, clean up a little bit of the zone issues, and you have a really good boundary corner on your team.
Cool. So I just took Thomas. So Simmons, Thomas. Okay. So we'll go Simmons again. You can start getting funky. You don't have to keep picking the same player in round 1 each time. For the purpose of the demonstration, I'm not going to jerk around too much as far as can I get Simmons and Connerly right next to each other on the board. There are times I play that game, but I'm not playing it right now. Okay, so Randall, what are you thinking in round 2 if they take Simmons in round 1? Any player in round 2 that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, let's go into edges. And then let's look at, let's see. Let's go down. Let's go somebody that I like who I believe is going to be an early second rounder, and Cal Kennard from South Carolina. He's got great size, 6'5", 254, 10 sacks, super explosive edge. Big fan of watching his tape. I think he goes early second.
No, I'm right there with you. And especially in a loaded edge rusher class, he, along with everybody else, should not fall into round 3 at all. And if they do, those will be immediate trade-up targets for a bunch of teams. I promise you, you will see movement.
Yeah, Buffalo's got 2 seconds, and I've been staring at Kennard for a little bit. If we go interior defensive line, round 1, for sure.
Yeah. And I think Kennard fits the Buffalo prototype.
Oh,
he sure does. That's Buffalo size.
So, Lee, if you had to pick another second-round target for the 49ers, if they take Josh Simmons in round 1, what are you thinking?
I would go linebacker, and I would go with Chris Paul Jr.
I like it. Shout out if anybody from Chris Paul's family is listening to the podcast. Thank you for all of the retweets. Thank you. Okay, so
Arkansas.
We do Simmons again in round 1, and Josh, this is your 3rd second-round pick.
Yeah. So let's move to the offensive side of the ball, and let's get these guys a skill weapon, hypothetically, just because we haven't gone there yet. Looking at the wide receiver, it's going to provide depth. You don't know what the future of Debo holds. You don't know how quickly Ayuk's going to come back from his injury. Juwan Jennings was really solid for them this year. Ricky Pearsall started to come on late in the year. But let's just add one more just for the fun of it. I know you're highlighting Jaden Higgins. I know it, but we're going to take it right underneath him. We're going to take Savion Williams, the freak of a monster from TCU, 6'4", 230 pounds. Shanahan, if any coach in the league is going to find a way to use Savion Williams year 1, it will be Kyle Shanahan.
I do like that.
Where do you have him projected right now, Josh? Just in general, just like bound like 25 number, 50 number sort of thing.
He's a second round grade for me. That's with the drawbacks that he has. His athletic ability and his freak traits rise him up the board. And if he had more of a well-rounded game and has proven himself as the outside boundary guy, except for those 50-50 balls, we know he's obviously great at those. He would be a first round block for me, but he's still got a little bit to work on. But that position flexibility and those traits, it's really scary if he figures it out.
For sure. Go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, he put this Savion Williams we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There was a couple of games where he would carry the ball out of the backfield. I don't know what was going on with TCU's running backs, but there was some games where he would line up in the backfield and take carries just like a running back. So he's very versatile too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and I'd like that to a Shanahan team.
Yeah.
Like, Shanahan's a fun coach to mock players too, because, if he gets like a Brashard Smith or a Savion Williams, he's going to be able to use them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I know, Josh, we kind of had the same mentality because my next one was going to see if Scatabo is up there. Because same thing, versatile all over the place. Through, catch, pass, he could do it all.
And Randall, we're up to you for another second-round pick for the 49ers.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll have fun with the running backs, but I won't take Scatabo, even though I think he is kind of that style. But I really like Omari Hampton. He is my running back 2. And right behind Gianti. He's got the dual ability, 2 touchdowns, 400 yards receiving. Just add that on to 16, 60, and 15 touchdowns rushing. He's got great contact balance. Love everything about him.
Okay. So I'll do the last one. I'll do Simmons and
throw a name out there.
Do Schlesinger. Another possible second. Oh, actually, Jihad Campbell is there in round 2. Okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
easy.
It is. It is.
Okay.
You see, Brugler's 2.0 mock draft had Jihad in the 50s.
I don't understand.
I don't think I'm not sure how it's possible, but Brugler had that on there. I think the only linebacker was Jalen Walker in the first,
Mhm.
and Schwarzenegger was ahead of Campbell.
Now, I've just recently updated my linebacker rankings. I've made the switch. I put Walker ahead because of the versatility and the mental processing. Jihad Campbell's right there, right behind him at 2. But both of those guys are top prospects for me. And even if you want to have the drawbacks on Campbell, there is no way he falls out at the 32nd pick. If Andy Reid is staring at that monster, I don't think he's taking him. He's taking
100%. 100%.
So we've seen Simmons move up to the top of the draft board. I do want to point out, notice how Simmons went from an A to an A+.
Mm-hmm.
The A+ is when you pick him at the very top. So when I picked him and he was at the top, that's the difference between the A and the A+. Because there's a lot of people that complain about the grading. I wanted to point that out. In addition to that, so let's look at a couple of the guys like Helm. Okay, so if you go to the team needs section of the site and you find the team that you're interested in, so if we do this, we go to the player list for San Francisco. Oh, and I'm sharing a tab, not my screen, so give me a minute. Okay, so if you go to team needs, you find San Francisco and you go to the player list, you'll see Josh Simmons has moved up to 4th on the 49ers board. Okay. So it's even got him ahead of T-Mac. It's got ahead of like Jalen Walker. So if Jalen Walker ever fell, it would still pick Simmons over Walker.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of the players that we picked, one of them was Swinson, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he moved up maybe a little bit. Let's see, it was Savion Williams. He moved up a little bit. Helm. Helm was, do you remember Lee, what
103? 103?
Yeah. Yep. 103.
from 103 to 69 with 1 second round pick.
Wow.
Lee, I like that. He's my tight end 4.
Yep, right with you. There's a bona fide top 4 guys, and he rounds it out at the number 4 spot.
Yep.
Okay, so another one, Thomas. I don't remember what Thomas was when we picked him, but he was in the
There you
100.
go. Yeah, 71.
He moved up to 71. So this is what's happening whenever you do. We just did 10 2-round mocks, right? So we were just bang, 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 right? And we did that pretty fast. We did that in about 20 minutes. And that was because we were talking through it. So what I want to be able to point out is whenever you do any type of mock draft on this simulator, this is the exact behavior that you're getting. It doesn't matter if you do the second round challenge or anything else. Let's do one that's going to be a little bit quicker. So we observed we didn't like the Bengals pick. I don't remember who was first, but we didn't like the Bengals pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it was Will Anderson. So this time we're going to do a first round challenge, which is 5 unique 1-round drafts. Okay. So Lee, who are you thinking for the Bengals in round 1?
This is not a popular choice, but seeing how towards the end of the season they were struggling at running back, I'm willing to go there.
Okay. Ashton Genty?
Yeah.
Yep. And so we did Genty, and now it's spitting us immediately into the second 1-round draft. So, Josh, who else are you thinking for the Bengals in round one?
So looking at their depth chart currently, we know they have had struggles on the interior of their offensive line. They could go down that direction. T. Higgins is a free agent this offseason. They also don't know about the future of Mike Gesicki, so they can look to attack a perimeter threat or a tight end. They also do need help on the interior of the defensive line, and they could use some cornerback depth, but I think that's pushed back a little bit. For me, you would have to go a weapon or an offensive lineman. If let's just say T. Higgins leaves in free agency, I'm attacking wide receivers, and we have Luther Burden on the board, and that is my last remaining first-round grade on a wide receiver. So we'll pick up Luther Burden, slide him in with Joe Burrow, take some pressure off of Jamar Chase in those double coverage scenarios, and get him as a power slot receiver for them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what the simulator does, if you look, Genty and Burden are off the board before Cincinnati picks.
Nice.
So Randall, what do you think of
course.
Cincinnati?
Okay, I got a quick question before I make this, because I kind of frequently talk with some Bengals fans, or they're kind of in my feed, my Twitter algorithm. They are pretty gun set on that they'll be able to sign Chase and Higgins, and I don't see that money possible. It's possible, but I don't see the ownership going that route. Josh and Lee, how do you feel about that?
I think they're going to give him a good offer. It's going to be deciding on whether T wants to stay in that comfortable system and know he's going to produce, or he's going to take that money from another team, because this isn't going to be a scenario where only a couple teams offer him the bag. No, There's going to be about 7 to 10 teams that offer him legitimate money. And I think that money and that long-term contract is going to speak to T. So I don't see a world where he stays. That's why I attacked receiver. But I could also see a world where he takes a little bit less money, or Joe Burrow reworks his contract in order for Higgins to get a little bit more money to keep that tandem going. But financially, with the struggles in the interior of their offensive line and them needing to get depth at the front 7 everywhere, I don't see it as a smart thing to do. But you never know.
No, I hear you. That was just a quick question, because a lot of those fans are gung-ho on doing both, and I just didn't see it possible. All right, but I'm looking at defense. I'm going to stick on the defensive side. And what are my defensive tackles looking like right now, or edges?
Grant, Williams, Alfred Collins are all there.
Yeah, let's go edge.
Sawyer.
Nick Scourton could be interesting. I have like a late first, so that might be a little too rich for Nick Scourton. What's the cornerbacks looking like?
More than likely, they're all – the only one that's off the board is Ravel. So somehow –
Yeah.
Oh, wait, this is first-round challenge. Hold on. This is a first-round challenge. So if we look earlier, Simmons went. Give me a minute. Let me find San Francisco. So see, Simmons went.
Yeah.
But when you do a first-round challenge, the algorithm won't let the same player get picked by the team more than twice.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's why Simmons didn't go this time. So the only corner off the board right now is Ravel.
Okay. Let's go. Benjamin Moore. They kind of need a starter now.
Yeah.
I'm high, to be honest with you. I'm high on, I think Jahdae Barron's a top 15. I think they go with versatility in that backfield and go Jahdae Barron.
Okay. I like it. We need more Jahdae Barron in round 1 talk. We need that.
He's firm.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Okay, so Lee, if Genty, Burden, and Barron are off the board before the Bengals pick, what are you thinking is their next best choice?
Let me go safety. Yeah, Malachi Starks.
I like it. And Josh, if Genty, Burden, Barron, and Starks are off the board, what do you think the Bengals do?
This is the only position group we haven't attacked, and this is probably the most likely position group that the Bengals are going to attack either in round 1 or round 2. Let's move to the guards, and I have currently 5 first-round caliber prospect guards, so they're going to have their choices. Do you have Donovan Jackson as a tackle or a guard?
I have him as a guard right here.
Donovan Jackson will be the selection, and don't be surprised if he goes this high or if he goes into the 20s range. His tape has well proved that he's worth that. The reliability, versatility lineup as a tackle, teams are really going to value that.
Got it. So you can see, like, with Jackson, I think he was 73 at the time I picked him. So let me do one thing here. Let's go to the Bengals board. So I go to team needs.
Yeah, the Ohio State offensive line is just raising their stock as with these extra games. It's it's nice to see, especially in, like, how we've talked about a shallow offensive line class. At least some are raising to get ready for the draft.
No, absolutely.
And then if we look at Jackson, he was 70th when I picked him in round 1, and he moved up to 44th.
Nice.
So generally speaking, it takes about, like, for a player where Jackson was at 70, it's going to take about 30 mock drafts to get him to go number 1. Like, if you wanted Jackson to go all the way from the middle of the draft board up to the top spot, that's about 30 people doing mock drafts. The good news is, like, for the Bengals, you can see how many mock drafts have been done. I have a lot of Bengals fans. We have a lot of Bengals fans that follow the podcast. See that 346 mock drafts?
Jeez.
Right there. Like,
There you go.
I'm a Bills fan, and they're 3 times as much as the Bills.
Yeah. If Ryan Sparks is watching this, I apologize. I was kind of talking about you with extending T and Jamar Chase.
Yep. Okay. So now that we've talked about how the simulator works, I don't need to, like, lecture people anymore, but I wanted to make sure that that's out there, and I've explained to some of the draft professors that it is a little bit different. And if you're not used to some of those funny buttons, like what is a first-round challenge or second-round challenge, we've covered that. Do you guys want to, like, each pick, like, 2 teams, and we do, like, a 3-round mock?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Lee, what 2 teams would you like?
Chicago and Rams.
Got it.
Nice.
And go ahead, Randall. What were you
Oh,
going to say?
I was just going to ask Lee who your favorite NFL team is, or if you kind of jump through.
Oh, Browns.
Oh,
Browns. Oh.
yeah.
And you didn't pick them.
No, I already. I have.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It's all good. Josh, you want to pick 2 teams?
Yeah, give me the Ravens. You knew that was coming. And then let's go with the interesting team. Let's go Falcons at 15. Just because a lot of things are going to fall to them and they can have a lot of choices.
Yeah, I like
Cool.
that.
Randall?
All right, so I'm going to go Bills, and then I'll get funky with the Steelers because I was the one who brought the Steelers before.
Okay, and me. Oh, I'm looking to see, like, what's left. I like Houston. Houston's kind of interesting. They could go a few different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to go Arizona. We got 3 rounds. And it looks like out of all those teams, Chicago is going to be the first one up. Okay. So, Lee, for Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It went Walker, Hunter.
Hey, Jalen Walker, first pick. Okay.
Okay. Well, so here's the way that the algorithm works. Okay. Hey. So there's a draft board for each team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the algorithm defaults to the top player on the board, but the randomness will grab 2 teams in every round and not pick the top player. And I have a really good idea that one of those was Tennessee.
Nobody gets the first round correct anyways. Nobody goes 32 for 32. Nobody.
Last year, the internet got 7 of the first 10 picks on the simulator, right?
Wow.
And Joe Alt to the Chargers was one of the 3 that it didn't get, and Penix was one of the other ones that it didn't get.
Nobody was getting
Yeah.
No. Although it looks good now, but no one
Yes,
predicted
it
that.
They were smart. We were not.
halfway smart. They still gave Kirk.
Yeah,
the
fair.
They still have dead cap, but I think hedging your bets the way that they did was a really good move.
Yeah.
So what you thinking, Lee, for Chicago at number 10?
10, Will Campbell.
Okay.
Push him in a guard, get that interior.
Okay. And then, again, if you notice, like Jihad Campbell's number 1 on the Falcons board, right? So that's how he gets there, right? His fans have picked him, and I know that Clint likes him, but what do you like, Josh?
I think so. Jihad on this board and on my board, besides Ashton Genty, is my highest rated player. So if we were to go to BPA strategy, Jihad would be the pick. But I think James Pierce Jr. fits that team a little bit better with that speed on the outside, playing that outside linebacker role. He's still a top 10 prospect for me, so you're not losing any value at all. You're getting a good return on investment. And I understand the weight concerns, the play strength concerns. Can he hold the edge? I think he's more than capable enough to do it. And I think he's an automatic upgrade at that edge rusher position for Atlanta. So let's go James Pierce.
Okay. So the next team was Arizona. Was that one that I picked, or you picked, Randall?
No, I picked Steelers and Bills. So that would be it.
So this is me. Okay. So I'm thinking, like, I see the defensive tackles there. So here's what goes through my mind. More than likely, when Arizona picks in round 2, I'm going to be able to get an edge, but the defensive tackle board is going to be slim pickings by the time they pick in round 2. So I'm going Kenneth Grant to the Cardinals. It's 16th overall. They need defensive line help, so that was why I did that. So Steelers, that was you, right, Randall?
That is me. All right, so we're gonna trade Buffalo's first round pick for 2 firsts for TJ Watt, and then we're gonna start looking at edges. No, I'm just kidding. But if they do, I would accept that. So I'm looking at a wide receiver to help out with, obviously, whoever they end up getting a quarterback and who they run with. George Pickens, obviously, dog. Hopefully he ends up staying with Pittsburgh. So I'm looking at probably a Emeka Egbuka. That's pretty much the counterpart of George Pickens. Great slot guy. Does it all. Blocks. Does everything. Pretty much George Pickens is a dog on the outside. And, questionable blocker. Emeka brings in that energy and that fire that probably whoever quarterback gets is who they need to, light a fire on that offense.
No, absolutely. A lot of teams could use Emeka Egbuka in their offense, but the Steelers are one of the few teams that need Emeka Egbuka. They don't need need it.
100%.
Okay, so the next team up was Houston. Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland are both off the board.
Damn.
So if one of them was there, I think that's you either need to go tight end or receiver here, right? So the fact that Egbuka, Loveland, and Warren all went off the board is not good news for Houston.
I know you're looking at him.
Well, I'm thinking of Isle Manor.
Yep.
Is that a good counterpart to Nico? Both outside acts sort of thing. Both 6'4", right?
They would make it work, but it wouldn't be the easiest fit in the world. No.
What about like Xavier Restrepo?
Way better fit, but
a
lot of people are very on Restrepo.
Yeah. Sorry, Jim. I'm hacking your.
No,
face.
this is okay. So Houston also needs defensive tackle.
Yeah.
They need interior defensive line. So I'm sitting here, like, I know they don't need a corner, right? They have 2 really good corners. I think they're going to match up well with Kansas City this weekend.
They don't need anybody in the defensive back, not at least in the first round.
Yeah.
Or in the edge.
Yeah.
They good
So,
with the
I mean,
end.
Watts is there, but I don't think that's the right way to go here. So, like, I like picking Houston because to me, this is actually this one fell very negatively, but I'm actually going to go Matthew Golden.
Wow, you're putting.
Oh, change that algo a little bit. I love it. I'm curious to see how high he gets.
Yeah.
Okay, and Lee, you had the Rams, right?
Yep.
So what are you thinking for the Rams in round one?
I was thinking receiver myself with the Rams because I don't know how many good years Cooper Kupp has left, honestly. So, receiver. And I take Iron Banner.
You like Isle Manor to the Rams?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, so what do you think the Ravens are going to do, Josh?
So this is the spot where I'm going to ignore my board with who I have in front of him because this guy will be a plug-and-play left guard at the next level, and he will bring you versatility to play on the left tackle spot if Ronnie Stanley gets hurt. And I'm talking about Wyatt Milam out of West Virginia, the tackle that's going to move to the inside. Great floor as a pass protector. Really hard blocker in the run game. Gives it his all. Really high effort guy. He could slip out of the first round, but I don't see him slipping out of the top 50 by any means.
Yeah, that's a good pick for your interior and Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together. I mean, the way you can open up holes. This is what I'm afraid about Sunday is your interior opening up the inside, and then Lamar Jackson having that lane while having Derrick Henry sort of thing. So to get another guard to solidify that as well for 2025. I got anxiety, and we got 2 days till this game.
I'll be interested to see if Buffalo tries to vary up their packages on defense and try to get out of that nickel package a little bit. They play it over 90% of the time, and that feeds right into what the Ravens are going to want to do in that cold weather Buffalo Stadium. So it'll be interesting.
So, since you guys played a little bit of a card with your 6-0 offensive lineman out for the Steelers. So I think McDermott saw that and was like, okay, we're playing 4-3. We're going to have Dorian as that third linebacker.
I think Buffalo played 3 linebackers on like 27% of the snaps when we played them before. But the difference was those linebackers were Spector, Morrow, and Dorian Williams. And now it's going to be Milano, Bernard, and Dorian Williams.
Yeah.
Oh.
That makes a big difference. That's going to make a big difference.
It does.
Couple of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Milano and Bernard.
Yeah, so
Dorian Williams is a hard-hitting linebacker. I got to sit next to his uncle. He was like the funniest person in the whole entire world. Sorry, go ahead.
So, Randall, you are up for Buffalo.
Oh, nice. All right, so we already got our edge in TJ Watt, but then we don't have that pick. Okay, so interior defensive lineman. I pretty much talk about on Twitter all day, every day about Alfred Collins. So that would be my pick, to be very honest with you. I think he is a first-round grade. So I guess I'll be boring and pick Alfred Collins because if everybody sees me on Twitter, I talk about him once every other day.
So Chicago picks up. So, Lee, after you picked Will Campbell in round 1, what are Chicago's second-round picks going to look like?
Let me look at running back, and I'll take Taj Brooks.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That dude was.
And then you have another second-round pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because one of those was Chicago's and one of those was Carolina's.
They're still getting paid for that Carolina trade.
All right. Let me go edge. And I take Mike Green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I think, Josh, you were doing Atlanta, and you took Pierce in round 1, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we did. So we got our edge rusher of the future in James Pierce Jr. So now I'm looking for a counterpart to AJ Terrell as that boundary corner, somebody that can play that CB2 spot. We already picked Azariah Thomas, so I'm not going to do that. Trey Amos is still on the board. That's the next corner I got to get to, so I'm not going to be picking him. Rebel's not on the board, so we're going to go with my next best available player, and that's Darian Porter, cornerback out of Iowa State. Very projectable, is going to have a year or two before he really figures it out. But with those athletic traits, those movement skills, it's very freaky, and it could pair well with AJ Terrell.
Okay. And this board fell really well for the Cardinals because I went Kenneth Grant round 1, expecting there to be a lot of good edges here. And I see several of them that I like. I am going to go Jack Sawyer out of Ohio State to the Cardinals in round 2.
Great pick. Not the flashiest guy in the world, but has absolutely turned it on the last 4 weeks of the season.
Absolutely.
And then after the Steelers go with Egbuka in round 1, and shout out to Ross Newberry in the chat. So, Ross, welcome. I haven't seen you in the chat on a Draft Professor podcast, but welcome. So, Ross, if you have a pick for the Steelers you like in round 2 or 3, feel free to text it in. But Randall, what are you thinking for the Steelers here?
They could go cornerback. They could go cornerback, but I think they need to keep going with their offensive line and help that out as they've kind of had an average offensive line. I would probably stick with tackle, and I am a big fan of Armand Membu.
Yeah.
And I will go with him. I think that's a steal at pick, whatever it was, 50, 40, 45.
Yeah, he'll
And
be
then, Randall, you are up for Buffalo's first second-round pick.
All right. So I know if there's any other Bills fans watching at the moment, everybody's gung-ho on getting up that front 4 and things along those lines, which I am as well. But we do need separation at wide receiver, and we also do need a cornerback eventually. And I know a lot of people don't want to go cornerback immediately, but I think it is a need as well. Taking it, we lose Rasul Douglas. He's a free agent next year. I'm not sure if he comes back or he has the speed with his age. But right now I'm going to look at wide receiver, and I'll stick to one of my guys who is my wide receiver 6, I believe, in Jack Besh from TCU. I think he's a great piece, and eventually in 2026 to take over a Curtis Samuel role, one of the top route runners in my opinion. I know it looks a little slower, but he knows how to separate with deception and at that stem of the route. Got a great tree.
Okay, so for Houston, they're up. I took Matthew Golden in round 1. So the next thing I'm thinking for Houston is interior defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that Alfred Collins was off the board because he would have been a good pick here. And I'm looking, and I don't necessarily know that I like this for a round 2 interior defensive line. Capehart, maybe. Mills, maybe. TJ Sanders, maybe. But I think that's a reach for all of them.
What about Tyler Batty?
I don't have him this high in round 2.
Lee, do you?
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like late round 2.
Okay.
Or middle of the second round.
Well, I mean, we are late round 2 because this is a Houston pick, and Houston is still playing right now, right? So Houston plays this weekend. Josh, where do you have Batty?
Batty is right outside the top 100. I have to do a reevaluation on him, so that is not firm at all. He could absolutely rise up my board. The highest guy I have on my board that's in the interior right now is TJ Sanders. I have him in the 3rd round, but that would be the first interior guy that I would take at this spot.
So I'm thinking Harold Fannin went one spot before Houston.
That sucks.
But
Yeah.
like Helm, I'm going to say Helm because who's the tight end? Is it Dallas Goedert in Houston?
No, it's he's from, but he was
Dalton
from Dallas.
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz.
Schultz
There
and they got
yeah.
Stoker as the backup.
Yeah, so they have a veteran tight end, but getting another tight end because A, they need receiving help, and B, I don't necessarily see Dalton Schultz as the answer 3 years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think
I'm going
he
to
only
go
signed
Gunner.
a 3-year, right?
Yeah, so it was a 3-year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Gunner Helm.
CJ Stroud could unlock Elijah Arroyo, and that'd be a lot of fun.
That would have been. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, that's an athlete, that tight end.
And then Randall. Josh,
Nope.
you are up with Baltimore's second round pick.
So Baltimore's next issue, we've already addressed the left guard spot, so we can leave the offense alone. Their next issues are inside linebacker and boundary corner to replace Brandon Stevens and another safety to give help to a Darius Washington. I'm leaning more towards the safeties if we can click on that to see who's on the board. Now, those top three guys, Nick Amanawari is a top 32 guy for me. Firmly, I don't think he should fall out the first round. If he does, but I don't think that's the best fit for the Ravens because they got Kyle Hamilton, same size. One's got to play the free safety, one got to play the strong safety. I don't see how that would mesh the best. I like Kevin Winston Jr. Obviously, he's gone through the injury, but the best fit to Kyle Hamilton in my mind would be Andrew Makuba to play that free safety role and roam the deep third parts of the field, deep middle parts of the field, and give Kyle Hamilton to ability to line up wherever he needs to on the field.
I love that.
So Ryan Sparks, we did a Bengals mock earlier, and this one, the simulator took Xavier Watts in round 2, and the simulator took Ashton Genty in round 1, and I know that's going to make you cringe.
Right, I was talking about you like 20 minutes ago or 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay, Randall, Buffalo's second round pick.
All right. Well, let's look at the edges. Princely's available. I see that. I like Kennard, like Ivy. This would be so. The question is do we save $8 million or it was $9.2 million, I believe, to cut Von Miller? We saved $9.2 million on there, or do we run him in 2025 on a $16 million cap hit and see if we can get one more year out of him? So that is the predicament, which I've since day one of this year I've said cut Von, save the 9.2. But that would mean that I would be looking at an edge in round 1, in my personal opinion, to make sure we get some blue chip. Josh passed on Emenworry, and we got Cole Bishop last year, and nothing but Buffalo and McDermott loves having just a safety duo that he doesn't ever have to worry about. So let's go Emenworry and Bishop in that backfield, and that's a dangerous safety duo.
No, absolutely. Don't get it twisted. I took Makuba, but Emmanuel pound for pound is the better safety prospect.
I mean, pound for pound, we could talk about it, but Makuba's back half of this year has been so electric that I think that he's just going to ascend and ascend and ascend. So I think that was a great pick.
Okay, so Lee, you are up with Chicago's third round pick. And as a reminder, you have taken Mike Green, Taj Brooks, and Will Anderson, I think.
Oh, Campbell.
Will Campbell. I'm sorry. Will Campbell. Yep. So what are you thinking in round 3 for Chicago here?
Okay. Let me go offensive tackle again. And I go with what's his name? Ozzie
Trapilo?
Yeah.
I like that. In round 3 to Chicago. Okay, so this is me with Arizona. And I've done Kenneth Grant, and then I did an edge, I believe, in round 2. Yeah, Jack Sawyer. Okay, so the Cardinals don't have a second wide receiver. And I see Jaden Higgins there in round 3, so this is pretty easy for me, right? Because that's probably a top 64 player available in the 3rd round.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. I don't want any Michael Wilson hate in this chat, though, because I am a big fan of Michael Wilson.
He can get a little. You can get a little hate.
You gave me a little. That's fair.
So for Pittsburgh, we've done wide receiver and then offensive tackle. Yep, it was Ibuka, then Membu. So what are you thinking here, Randall?
Oh man, I apologize. What it was a Mecca, and then I went offense.
Membu.
Offense tech moved in. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's look at the cornerbacks and see where they're at. Cornerbacks and see. Definitely need a cornerback. Jabbar Muhammad is sitting there. Tommy Hill. Let's see. What about tight end? Who's available in the tight end market right now? Luke Lachey, Mitch Evans. Okay, so let's go back to cornerback. I like Jabbar Muhammad. I believe, yes. Let's go with him to help out in that backfield.
Okay, so this is Houston for me, and I think did I do Helm?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, I did. So I've done wide receiver, tight end, and, why not running back? Load up in the skill positions to help out the quarterback if there is RJ Harvey in the 3rd round to Houston. I kind of like that.
I wouldn't be mad with it.
No.
You guys are saying no?
No, it's a good pick. I would not be mad at that.
Very, very, very good pick.
Okay, and now the Rams are up. This is Lee again, right? So the Rams didn't have a 2nd round pick, and Lee took Alik Iomanor in round 1. So what are you thinking in round 3 there, Lee, for the Rams?
Let's go linebacker. And we'll take Kobe King.
Good pick.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, and Joshua up with Baltimore.
God, I love what I'm seeing at 1 and 2. I'm not going to take them. I'm going to go in a different direction. Both great prospects in the 3rd round. I love David Walker down there too. Great value in the 3rd round as well. I'm going to look at cornerback though, see if we can try to see a replacement for Brandon Stevens. I could go in a couple different directions. I'm going to hit a 180 though. I'm going to pivot real quick. Let's go to linebacker. I think Roquan Smith can use somebody to be his counterpart that Patrick Queen was. Trenton Simpson was supposed to be that. He got benched this year, so it's been a balance of Malik Harrison as well as Chris Broad. And is Chris Paul still on the board? No.
No, he's off
the board. So we'll go with a guy that I have as my linebacker 3, 1 spot ahead of Chris Paul and Jack Kaiser. I think Jack Kaiser can play the off-the-ball role next to Roquan Smith very well in run support, take some pressure off of him on the other side, and bring some value in coverage as well.
So the Eagles are going to say, I'm not going to let you do that because they took Kaiser.
Yeah, they already took Kaiser. They already took Kaiser. I thought you was going to say Danny Stutzman.
Nah, okay. Well, then forget everything I said. Give me David Walker, and we'll just have a good day.
There you go. There was a little bit of Kaiser disrespect yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, Jim. I think both of them had him as linebacker 10 and 12.
Damn.
Yeah, so we did a linebacker big board episode, but neither of those guys were as high on Kaiser as Josh was. That is correct.
Yeah, I like Kaiser.
Okay, and I think the last pick is the Rams. So they did Alik Iomanor, then Kobe King, and now with their comp pick, they have one more pick. So, Lee, what are you thinking?
We'll go corner, a cornerback, and I'll take Kobe Bryant.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he's still on the board, honestly.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. So for the Bears, they took Campbell, Taj Brooks, Mike Green, Ozzie Trapilo.
That's good.
Rams, Alik Manor, Kobe King, Kobe Bryant. So they got 2 Kobe's.
There you go.
Ravens, Milam Makuba Walker. Falcons, Pierce Porter. The Bills, Collins, Besh. We say it Besh, right?
Ash. Yeah.
Collins, Besh, Emin Mori. I'm cursing Randall for not taking an edge. I'm just saying.
I know. We traded for TJ Watt. I already told you that.
Steelers, Eguka Membu Muhammad. Texans, Golden Helm Harvey. And the Cardinals, Grant Sawyer Higgins.
Cardinals is a good one. They got value. And
a couple of other observations. If you notice how I have like a little logo here. So if you go up to your profile and you store a logo, that's the logo that appears there.
Nice.
So think of all the mock drafts that get posted to Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That little circle is your ability to advertise when you post a mock draft.
Oh, nice.
Play chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Kind of thing. So, cool. Well, that was a pretty good 65 minutes. We were shooting for an hour. We're putting together a 32 GM mock draft for next weekend. So, Ryan, I see you in the chat. So, I know that we had something planned a couple Fridays ago that didn't pan out. I'm putting together a 32 GM mock draft this same exact time, Friday night next week. So, if you are available, Ryan, or you have a person that you'd recommend to do the Bengals, definitely send them my way. Kind of thing. And then Ross, I don't know what team is yours, whether you're a Steelers fan or not, but if you want to participate in the 32 GM mock draft, it's all about audience engagement at the Draft Professor. It's not going to be the professors drafting against the professors. It's us engaging with our followers. So if you guys are available, we would love to have you. So why don't we do a quick commercial? So, Josh, you want to tell everybody kind of who you are, how they can find your content?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys can go follow me on Twitter at juice_T23. We're posting daily draft content on there as well. Starting up Scouts Eye View, just had our first meeting back a couple days ago, so you're going to get a lot of content from us, our personal big board, scouting reports on each individual prospect. So make sure to stay tuned to that. And yeah, we're going to be on the Draft Fanatic podcast every other day on here. So nonstop draft content coming at you guys.
Cool. Lee, you want to tell everybody who you are, how they can find you?
Yeah, name's Lee Harvey. Music fan for life on X, Instagram. I even got a little YouTube page that I'm working on. It's got everything that I have involved with social media, the same name. On X, I got a lot of highlights involving all this year's prospects. And I appreciate it if y'all take the time to check them out.
Randall.
All right. At Randall Slifer for Twitter and Blue Sky. That's where you find all my stuff, as well as for Draft Professor. But I engage with everybody, and I love talking football from morning to night. So if you contact me, I will definitely respond.
Yep. And I definitely want to echo what Randall and the others have said. So if you engage with our content, we're clearly going to engage back. That's what makes this fun for all of us, is getting the engagement going. So If you use the simulator and you post a mock draft, tag at NFL Draft Fanatic in it, and several draft professors will likely see the mock because notifications are on. You should have notifications on for at NFL Draft Fanatic on X because, as everybody has said, we have daily draft content. We have a podcast coming at you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Brian and Anthony are handicapping the 2025 quarterback market. So they're covering who are the free agents and the trade targets. So the three of us will be, digging through depth charts and telling you what backups to trade for. And this might be the year that Mason Rudolph becomes a starting NFL quarterback. I am glad that I got a smile out of all three of you on that one.
That was a level 1 teaser for our podcast there.
So, not everybody can sign Kirk Cousins. Not everybody can sign Sam Darnold. I'm telling you guys, Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph or Malik Willis. One of those guys.
I'd rather go Malik.
Yeah, 1,000%.
I think the Titans would rather have Malik right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if we're all laughing about it now, just imagine what it's going to be like at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm just saying, that's going to be some good content. So subscribe to the YouTube page, like and follow on Twitter, engage in content. We will engage with yours. You can engage with ours. That's what makes this fun for all of us. So we have 30 people at the Draft Professor putting out daily content. You're seeing 4 of the 30 people on this podcast right here. And you can see Ryan Sparks in the chat. He has guest appeared on our podcast before. And Ross, thank you for chiming in. And I look forward to seeing you on another podcast tomorrow. So on behalf of everybody, thank you for watching and have a great Friday, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode of Mrs. R Relevant, the Daily Draft Podcast, brought to you by the Draft Professor. Please follow the Draft Professor on X at NFL Draft Fanatic, no I in Fanatic. Please follow the Draft Professor channel on YouTube at NFL Draft Fanatic, no I in Fanatic. We look forward to seeing you on our podcast tomorrow.